Okay, it's very good to be here. Welcome everybody. I guess I'm the last person between us and lunch, so I'll try to make sure that we get to lunch. It's a real pleasure to be here. I really enjoyed the earlier presentations from Sean and Matt. What I'm going to speak about is coming a little bit more from an academic side of research that I've been doing with some of the leading e-commerce companies in the United States, Warby Parker, diapers.com that was sold to Amazon for $545 million US, and also some traditional retailers like Crate and Barrel and so on. And the theme that I really want to explore is the importance of location. And this is just a book that I recently just finished. So when we start thinking about retail, and this is an idea from 1931, location, location, location. So if Matt and I build a store, and we build it here in São Paulo, most of the customers that we're going to get are going to come from a close area near the store. Nobody is going to drive from Rio to come to our store in São Paulo. But on the internet, your customers can come from anywhere, from the entire country of Brazil, from the entire United States, from the entire world. But location is still absolutely critical because the location of your customer explains their offline opportunity. The location of the customer tells you which customers they live next to spread the word of mouth. So understanding where the customer is located tells you a lot about sales for e-commerce. So I'm going to explore 3 case studies. The first one I'm not going to explore in detail, but this was something that was talked about by Sean earlier on, the importance of giving customers information and reducing friction. So 75% of all decisions that are made online are made after looking at a review, after looking at information. That's why companies that provide information are so valuable. So TripAdvisor used to be a $4 million startup. It's now a $30 billion company, and the reason it's a $30 billion company is because it provides information. Now 30% of all reviews on the internet are fake. So if we have time after lunch, I'll reconcile those 2 facts. People use reviews, but a lot of reviews are fake. Secondly, what we see is that increasingly, if you're online, you also need offline to have that relationship with the customer. So Matt was sharing some data about the multiplier that you get from online to offline. This particular company here was started by a Wharton MBA student. It's the only V-commerce company in the world, vertical e-commerce. So this company, Harrys.com, is selling shavers. It's attacking Gillette. Gillette is a $57 billion acquisition by Procter & Gamble. And so a lot of the successful new businesses in the United States take a product where the product cost to the consumer is here, the manufacturing cost is here, and they build a brand and they do it online. So online companies, Birchbox, Rent the Runway, Warby Parker, Harry's, Bonobos, they all realize that if you're online, you still need offline. So I'm going to show you some research on this. Second point here, with this example, I'm going to talk about diapers.com and soap.com. So anyone here in the room is a customer of baby.com.br? Okay, good. I see a customer. I don't have no financial interest. I just wanted to check. Okay, so baby.com.br was started by a Wharton student and a Harvard student who were friends. They both spoke Portuguese, and they saw the model of diapers.com. Do you guys know diapers.com? It's one of the most successful pure e-commerce companies in the United States. They saw that model and they applied it to Brazil. So the important point here is there are certain kinds of product categories where you don't need to touch the product. You don't need to feel it. There's no surprise. Those are perfect products to sell online. So I'm going to show you some research on how that happens. And then finally, I'm just going to say 5 things about mobile, because Sean talked a lot about mobile. So mobile, as you guys know, really changes the game, and it changes the game for 5 reasons. The first reason is the mobile device allows customers to be snacking. Okay, I can see some of you guys are snacking now, right? So you're in Starbucks, you're looking down, you're waiting for your coffee, you're snacking. So as a marketer, you need to offer consumers the opportunity to snack because they're snacking all the time. Number 2, this device is held by 1 billion plus people around the planet. It's a payment system and a distribution system in one device. That never happened before. That means that you can build new businesses that's an old business but a different use case. So did anyone here ever use hotels.com or Expedia to book a hotel? So you would think if Matt Lawson and I, Matt and I are good friends, and the reason we're here is we used to play rugby together, okay? So it's kind of fun to be. So you can imagine if Matt and I are doing an investor pitch to you guys, we say, hey, we've got this great idea. We're going to start a business selling hotels on the mobile phone. You'd say, well, that's crazy. That business has been going for 20 years. What a stupid idea. But if you look at an app called Hotels Tonight, it's extremely successful because it's a different use case and it's a different behavior that customers have. So if you go to Hotel Tonight and you want a room in São Paulo, it's going to be curated. And if you want to book, you just trace H with your finger. So the use case is different. Third thing that's really important here is this is the domain of native apps more than it has been for traditional websites. So one of the things that Sean showed that was absolutely critical was the idea of instant buy, allowing people to do things seamlessly in a native app type environment. Okay? The fourth thing that's absolutely critical about this device knows where you are. It has sensors, people can interact, people can send video, it's geo-aware. And then finally, the fifth thing that makes mobile so important, and so since I'm an MBA teacher, sometimes I can't help asking the audience questions, okay? And also I'm from New Zealand, so in New Zealand, we ask questions a lot. So what's the most powerful form of advertising? Is it something you hear on the radio, something you hear on the TV, or is it something that you get from a friend, right? Word of mouth, they discovered in the 1950s, is 5 to 7 times more powerful than advertising. So this device makes word of mouth even more powerful because it becomes show and tell. Show and tell. I don't just say, hey, Matt, we've got to go out tonight, let's get an Uber. He says, what's Uber? I say, hey, this is Uber, let's order the car here. So this becomes a device for show and tell. Okay, so those are 5 key things about mobile. All right, so let's go into the examples. You guys know all of this. The United Kingdom is the most penetrated country in terms of online commerce, but what's interesting about these data is no country is at 100%. Offline is still 90% of the game, so we cannot forget the importance of offline. India and China, and possibly Brazil, I think will grow faster. And the reason that India and China, from my experience, will grow faster is those countries do not have the same sophistication of offline infrastructure compared to the United States or the UK. Okay. However, there are still problems that people experience when they shop online, and so these are the things that you have to overcome. They don't like to wait. Sometimes they're uncertain. If I buy this shirt online, I don't know what it's going to fit and feel like. And then finally, the cost of returns can be high. So this is why offline is still going to be important, and I'm going to show you some examples. So whenever you teach in a business school, you always have to have a 2x2 matrix, 2x2, okay? So I should show you a 2x2, okay? So there's 2 things that we have to do as retailers, right? We have to allow our customer to get the product. They can get the product in the store offline, or we can send the store to them, we can deliver it online. In addition, we need to be able to give the customers information. So a traditional retail store provides the information offline. So the lady here, what's your name, please? So Claudia comes, of course, from, sorry, Claudia. I knew Claudia from yesterday, okay. So Claudia comes into the store, and she touches and feels the shirt and the shoes, and she gets the information in the store, and she also gets the product in the store. That's traditional retail. Down the bottom, you have companies like Amazon, where Amazon provides you the information online, because you search, and they also deliver the product remotely. But increasingly, we're seeing these 2 other examples as well. So I'm going to go around...
Lucas, corrigir. 700...
Okay, that wasn't me, actually. My Portuguese is not that good, All right. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys 3 examples based on my own research that I discuss in the book, and hopefully you'll find these interesting. So the first one's going to be diapers.com, and I want to share with you a concept. If you're selling products online, and they're simple products with no non-digital attributes, this is a concept that you have to think about, okay? So just to give you a little bit of history here, Jeff Bezos opened Amazon, right, 20 years ago in 1994. And what was the number one, here's another question. So in 1994, what do you think was the number one product category in the United States sold via catalog? What's the number one product category in the United States in 1994 sold by catalogs? It's not books. It's not books. It's apparel. It's apparel. So you might imagine in 1994, you think that the internet's kind of like a big electronic catalog, right? So maybe if Claudia and I are starting Amazon, we say, let's take the catalog success and translate to the internet. But Jeff Bezos was a very smart guy. He didn't start with number 1, he went all the way down the list to number 25, to books, because he realized the book is the perfect product to sell online because it contains no non-digital attributes. If I see Matt Lawson's book online and it has 250 pages and it's about profit-driven marketing, when it comes to my house, it's not 500 pages, a romance about him and his wife and Claudia, okay? Is it okay to make that kind of a joke? We are in Brazil, okay? So there's no surprise. And so Bezos recognized that the perfect product to sell online is the product that only has digital attributes that you can perfectly communicate. But a lot of us in the room, we're selling clothes, we're selling food, we're selling fashion, we're selling things with non-digital. And so we need to think differently when we do that. So that'll be my last 2 examples. So this is just digital. The concept's called preference isolation, and this was a concept that I wrote some research about and also discussed in my book. And here's the concept. So this is a fellow called Milton Friedman. Okay, so Milton Friedman is a famous capitalist and a famous professor at the University of Chicago. I'm a Kiwi, so I'm about half a socialist, okay? So Milton Friedman in his book in 1962 said, don't be a communist. Don't make those nails all big and then make all those nails all small like Matt showed us. You should be a capitalist because the capitalist market will always provide everything that you want, okay? So imagine, so he said any man can vote and get any tie in any color that he wants. So imagine that Matt Lawson wants a blue tie, but everybody else in the room wants a red tie. And Claudia and I, we manage the tie factory. We might say, you know what? I'm not going to change the factory just for this one guy. Forget it, I'm only going to make blue. So the point is, in the offline market, your opportunities depend on the preferences of your neighbors. So if I'm the CEO of diapers.com and I have a customer, Matt Lawson, who has a young child, and all of his neighbors are old people, his tastes will be very different to the majority and the local store won't pay attention to him. If Claudia has young children and all of her neighbors have young children, the local stores will have a very, very good assortment. So the offline market depends a lot on this idea of isolation. Okay? It's just like, is anyone here in the room, since it's coming before lunch, I can be a bit free and easy, right? Has anyone in the room ever eaten Vegemite? You know that famous Australian song, The Man Who Ate the Vegemite Sandwich? Yeah, I can see some people look. So Vegemite's coming out of the beer process, and it's black, and it's very, very salty. So whenever I go to the supermarket in Philadelphia, guess what? No Vegemite, okay? Because only I want Vegemite. My preference is too unique, so the offline retailers don't pay attention. So how do we use this concept to help diapers.com? So you guys are all familiar with diapers.com. Started as 1-800-diapers.com, was sold to Amazon, $545 million in 2011. It was started by an MBA student from the Wharton School. Amazon has made only 2 major acquisitions, Zappos for $900 million and Quidsi. So Quidsi in Latin means what if. So it's diapers.com, soap.com, casa.com, etc. Okay? So we wanted to help the management team, and this is just a picture of the warehouse. This is the robot system out in western Pennsylvania. It's about 1.2 million square feet, and they send out about 18,000 orders per day. So if you look at the way this business grows, going from the left to the right to the bottom right, every e-commerce company that I studied has the same pattern of sales growth. So the dark area, this means you have some customers, and then as time goes, the sales grow over locations. But if I showed a smaller map, we could see a very, very specific pattern driven by two forces. Okay? So imagine we want to produce map number 5, and we want to predict where are the new customers going to come. Are the new customers just going to occur randomly throughout the United States, or should there be some structure? Okay? And the answer is there is structure, and here's the reason. If I'm living in the Philadelphia suburbs, I'm not, and I have twins, I don't, okay, but I can say anything, I'm an academic, okay? So imagine I'm living in the Philadelphia suburbs with twins, and the supermarket is 30 minutes drive, or in São Paulo, it's a 3-hour drive, okay? So I have a very strong need for diapers.com because of my location. So if I have a strong need, my neighbor should suffer the same circumstance. So if I have a need, she should have a need. So new customers always come in locations close to customers where customers already are. It's called the birds of a feather come together concept. So your neighbor is more similar to you than some random person from somewhere else in Brazil. It's called the homophily or birds of a feather effect. The second reason you always see this spreading by contagion is if I live in my apartment in New York City and I see a box that says soap.com, I might think, what's that? And I might try it. So you observe from your neighbors. So a lot of successful e-commerce companies in the US, you guys, maybe the ladies, you know Birchbox? So Birchbox will send makeup to your house for $10 a month, 4 pieces of makeup. So if I'm selling makeup to Claudia, lipstick and makeup, do I want to send the box to her house or to her office? Should send to the office, right? Because when she opens it, there's more social exposure. So because of co-location and social exposure, you always see this pattern. Okay, so we wanted to help the management team. And we want to help you guys if you're selling products that are simple products. So here's a map of the United States. And the areas here that are more dark have more babies. So the dark area has more potential, okay? But in the dark area, the local retailers should also pay more attention to those customers. So it's not the total number of customers, it's the relative number. And here's the idea. So imagine you're like, let's say, Claudia. She's living in market A. She has kids, and most of her neighbors have kids. Matt Lawson is living in market B. He has kids, but most of his neighbors do not have kids. So the important point here, guys, in both locations, imagine the total diaper demand is the same. But what we found when we did statistical analysis was the demand in market B online is 50% more compared to market A. It's a very, very strong effect. And just for fun, I'll tell you a funny story because we still have 12 minutes to go, okay? We wanted to see if if retailers really are thinking about isolation. So my co-author and I, she's from Korea, and everything from Korea is cute, okay? So we have a measuring tape, a pink one, okay? Pink measuring tape, and we go to some supermarkets in Philadelphia, so one like Market A, where Claudia's, and we measure how much space for diapers, and we go to Market B, for the same brand of supermarket, we measure the space, B always has less space, okay? So what we found, in summary, was the demand overall is 50% higher, even though total demand was the same. So this is very powerful for the management at diapers.com because we rank all of the zip codes in the US from the most isolated to the least isolated using the census data, and we can have a 50% increase in demand. If you've not read, I would encourage you to read a fantastic book called The Long Tail. You guys will see some The Long Tail, why the future of business is selling less of more. So what we found in our study was if you have difficulty finding Pampers in your local market because you're isolated, so you're drawn online, then to find a niche brand like 7th generation, environmentally friendly, no chlorine is almost impossible. So this is the most important lesson. Find the physical markets where your customers are isolated. If you can do that, you can boost demand from 50% on average, 125% for niche products, and the customers are also more price sensitive. Okay, so let me go into the second example. So the second example, I'm sure many of you here have tried. This is based on a traditional retailer called Crate and Barrel. So, have you been trying a buy online, pick up in store, BOPS? Buy online, ship to store, BOSS? Research online, purchase offline, ROPO, all these good phrases, okay? Exactly. So I'm going to show you a study that was actually also done with my two colleagues from Chile and Spain. So we're looking down the bottom here, and on the bottom here, bottom left, what we're doing is we're providing information online, but we're doing the product fulfillment offline, okay? So the company that we focused on in this case, maybe you guys know, was actually Crate and Barrel, but of course many retailers are following this practice, okay? And this was extremely interesting. So the management team at Crate and Barrel was very, very concerned that their online sales were too low. So I don't know in Brazil if this is true, but a lot of the North American retailers, even very sophisticated, like Walmart, in the beginning, their online operation actually was not so good. So what Crate and Barrel decided to do is they decided to provide on their website price information, very accurate, and accurate inventory information. I have 4 coffee machines in this store right now, $200. So providing price and inventory, and they did this in some locations and not in other locations. And they anticipate when they provide price and inventory online, the online sales should go up. What they found was the online sales went down 7% when they did that. So let me explain why. It's very interesting. So what we're doing here, this is what the website looks like. Here's your pickup location. You can see the information about the product. And this was an experiment where in some stores, let's say in Matt Lawson's neighborhood, buy online, pick up in store is possible. And the gentleman here, your name please? Junior? Junior, okay. It's French, Junior, okay. I always have a problem with the French because they always beat us in the World Cup, of rugby, okay. So Junior, imagine in your location, buy online, pick up in store is not available. It's available here, it's not available here, so we anticipate online sales should go up. But here's what we found. Okay, I'll show you the maps and then I'll just give you the verbal. So we had some control groups and some treatment groups. What we found was the online sales went down 7% in locations where BOPS is available. We found that the abandonment, the shopping cart abandonment, you put something in, you don't finish, that went up in the locations near the buy online, pick up in store location. However, the overall store sales went up 6%, and the store traffic went up 13%, and here's the reason. The decision journey of your consumer that Sean was talking about before, they want to do some things online and other things offline. So for the kinds of products that Crate and Barrel sell, they're quite complex, right? You have to touch them. You want to taste the coffee. You want to sit on the bed. So for that reason, when you see the price and inventory information, you think, yeah, okay, I want that coffee machine, and it's right there. But you know what? I want to taste it first. So it actually brings you into the store. So this program for Crate and Barrel was tremendously successful, but not in the way that they planned. And I think there's an interesting insight there about what the path to purchase actually looks like. Giving the information offline, completing the process, giving the information online, completing the process offline. Okay, so here's my last example. So now we're going to the top left. This is a company that started its life online as a pure online retailer, and then now they're opening up many stores. So I'm going to give you guys a small test. So have you guys heard of this company? It's kind of like a very sexy company in the US now. If you read Fast Company named Warby Parker the #1 retail company of 2014. Above Amazon was #2. Okay? And I see some of us here are wearing glasses. I don't wear glasses, but if you wear glasses in the United States, this is a market where maybe you're going to pay $400 for a product manufactured in China for 20 and licensed by Luxottica. So you're wearing Ray-Ban, Dolce, Armani, whatever, It's all controlled by Luxottica. It's a beautiful monopoly, okay? And so 4 of our students at the Wharton School 4 years ago, one guy, before these guys come to school, they always spend their loan on a vacation. Before you start, you should spend your loan having some nice vacation. So he left his glasses on the plane in a seat pocket, and he's complaining to his friend, you know, I'm a poor student, I can't replace my glasses, it's $500. And the other guy said, he's just spent 5 years in India at a not-for-profit giving people glasses. He takes out his phone and he says, why? Why should glasses cost the same as an iPhone? Why is that? Something's wrong. You know, something's wrong. Why should, when you go to buy shavers, Junior, why should you pay $20 for 4 or 5 razors from Gillette? Why? Why not dollarshaveclub.com? When you go and you buy a mattress, Matt and his wife, a new bed, why do you pay a 300% markup? So there are many, many sectors of the economy you can find the consumer price is here, the manufacturing cost is here, and you can build a brand digitally online to change that market. And so now in the US, sometimes they use Warby Parker as a verb. I'm going to Warby Parkerize another industry for watches, for mattresses, for razors, etc. Okay? So let me show you what these guys did. They started online, and then they started to open stores. So here's Warby Parker. They've now sold about 1 million glasses. They've raised $115 million in funding, and they have about 10 showrooms. Okay? If you go to New York City, they also have 2 flagship stores, one in Soho and one on 83rd and Lexington. But what I'm going to focus on today, guys, is the showroom that just offers the inventory, kind of like a pop-up. Okay? So here's the idea. So with Warby Parker, you have 3 methods to buy the product. Okay? So the first thing is you can do a virtual try-on, and you upload a picture of your face and you try on the glasses. Okay? So that's one possibility. Now, if you're unwilling to do that, because glasses have, remember, this is our kind of cocktail party word for today. When we go out to the bar having drinks with your friends, you can say non-digital attributes. Okay, it's a good academic kind of word, but it's very important. So glasses have non-digital attributes. You want to try them before you buy them, typically. So the second method they offer is home try-on. And with home try-on, you can order 5 frames. They send to your house for 5 days for free, and you can try them on. But this sampling program is quite costly. It costs about $15 to do this. The conversion rate from the sampling program is about 50%. Okay, so we have 2 methods: direct on the website, sampling program, and then in the last 2 years, they started to open showrooms. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to analyze. So imagine again in Claudio's market, there's no showroom. So the customer has 2 choices, directly online or home try-on. And then I'm going to open a showroom in her location. And we're going to study what is the demand effect of adding the 3rd channel. Is it positive, and why? You guys understand what we're doing? So I always joke with my friends in business, and maybe you can do this with your universities here in Brazil. The university can be a fantastic resource because business people, you think about time and ideas. Business people have so many ideas, so many things you want to test, so many things you want to try, okay? But maybe you don't have much time. Academics, maybe we don't have so many ideas, okay? But we have a lot of time. So it's a nice combination. So I'm working a lot with a lot of startup companies to analyze what's making them successful. So here's what we did, guys. We looked at the effect of opening the showroom, and this is what we found. So when you open a showroom in a location, compared to before, no showroom, you open a showroom, your overall demand goes up 9%. And I won't bore you with the details, but we did very rigorous statistical analysis to control for all of the things that you have to do, running regressions and so on. What was also interesting, though, in the location where we opened the showroom, the online sales in that trading location also went up. So maybe there was some kind of brand effect. If you have a physical store, actually your online sales are going up. However, the home try-on sales in those locations with a showroom, they went down by 5%. So this suggested to us, after you open a showroom, the customers may be shifting their channel, and that's in fact what we found. So the orders through the home try-on program went down about 8%. Okay? The sales through the home try-on program went down about 5%. This means that the conversion rate of the home try-on program went up. So this is incredibly beneficial. When you open a showroom, you get more demand overall, you get more sales through the website, like an advertising effect, and your sampling program improves its efficiency. And we also found that the return rate and the repeat rate of doing these try-ons, so I have all the data on my computer. If I check your email address and you do 2 try-ons, I'm going to send you a very angry email, okay? I'm just joking, because it costs $15 every time. So opening the physical showroom had a tremendous benefit for this online company. And that's why Birchbox, Rent the Runway, Bonobos, Harry's, Warby Parker, they all recognize that physical presence is important. So what's the summary here, guys? So unlike Matt had 5, I only have 3, because I only have 55 seconds left. Okay? But hopefully my 3 are almost as good as his 5, we'll see. Okay? So the first thing that you really have to think about is the benefits for your customer for shopping online, for searching online, and for you selling online. You have to think about the physical location and the physical circumstance of the customer. It's critical. If you look at any online seller, there's huge variation by location. There's huge leverage for you. So you can take any online business in this zip code, 19104, Philadelphia. I have 2 customers. In this zip code, California, 90210, I have 1,000 customers. What's the reason? How do I leverage that? The second one is you need to democratize the availability of your products. Some people want the experience on the mobile device. Some people want the experience in the store. Some people want high service. Some want low. So online and offline have to come together. And this goes to the third point. Everyone now is talking about omni-channel. I have the same discussion in my book. But retailers succeed when they use one world to enhance what you do in the other. And I think Sean or Matt already showed this, but one of the very best in the United States is Sephora, the makeup company. It's a great case study because their product is completely non-digital. It's makeup, but their digital experience and the way they integrate with the store is absolutely fantastic. Okay. So that was my message for before lunch. Thanks for listening, and I'd be happy to discuss anything over lunch. I'll be hanging around. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.